There was a man in Rome who built the largest private fortune in the city's entire history. Seneca knew him personally. They dined together. They talked about philosophy. They spoke about time and legacy and what a life well spent actually looks like. When this man died, Seneca wrote one sentence about him. One sentence. For a man who had everything. He spent his whole life getting ready to live. In the next 6 minutes, I am going to give you the exact 4 questions Seneca said separate men who lived from men who merely existed. These are not motivational questions. They are diagnostic. And most men over 40 cannot answer a single one honestly. Chapter 1. The Invisible Trap. Seneca watched this pattern his entire life. He called it the most common way a man destroys himself without ever knowing it. It doesn't feel like a trap. That is the problem. It feels like responsibility. It feels like discipline. It feels like building towards something. The man with the largest fortune in Rome felt exactly that way. Every single year of his working life. One more year. Then the business will be stable. One more milestone. Then I will have time for what matters. One more achievement. Then I will finally live. Seneca had a word for this. He called it differ. To defer. To postpone. To push the act of living permanently into the future that never arrives. Seneca wrote, "Most men do not live. They are merely getting ready to live. And then it is over." Chapter 2 is where this gets uncomfortable for modern men. Chapter 2. The Retirement Delusion. Seneca's trap has a modern name. We call it the retirement plan. Work now. Sacrifice now. Build now. Live later. Later is not a plan. It is a postponement with a date attached. Seneca identified 3 specific things that happen to a man who defers living long enough. First, his capacity for pleasure shrinks. The things he said he was working toward no longer bring him joy when he finally reaches them. Second, his identity fuses with his function. He becomes what he does. When what he does ends, he does not know who he is. Third, and this is the one that breaks men, he reaches the end with a resume and an empty interior, accomplished by every external measure, unlived by every internal one. Chapter 3 is where Seneca gets specific. 4 questions. Most men cannot answer them. Chapter 3. The 4 questions. These are not journaling prompts. Seneca called them weapons against self-deception. Question 1. What am I postponing that I already know I should start? Not what you might start. Not what you are considering. What you already know. What you have known for years. That thing. Question 2. Am I chasing what I actually want or what I was told to want? Most men have never separated these 2 things. The life they built and the life they chose. For many men over 40, those are 2 different lives. Question 3. If I stopped tomorrow, what would I have actually lived? Not achieved, not accomplished. Lived. Question 4. What am I afraid to start because starting it makes failure real? Seneca said this is the question most men spend their entire lives engineering ways not to answer. Chapter 4 is your practice. It takes 10 minutes. You can start tonight. Chapter 4. This is not a long-term program. This is not something you build toward. Tonight before you sleep, you are going to sit somewhere quiet for 10 minutes with those 4 questions. Write the answers. Do not type them. Write them. The physical act of writing bypasses the defense mechanisms that typing does not. You do not need to solve them tonight. You need to stop avoiding them. Seneca said the moment a man stops deferring the question is the moment his life actually begins. Not when he retires. Not when the children leave. Not when the mortgage is paid. The moment he asks. You still have time. Most men waste their best years finding out too late. If you are a man over 40 who is done postponing subscribe, every week I release a long-form breakdown and daily shorts built specifically for men navigating the second half of life. The Bridge Short drops today link in the description. I will see you there.